This is comparing Wood Effects kits. So I bought 3 of these quite a while ago, and I've used some of them, but I've never actually sat down and went through them and seen which one I liked the most, which one was better, which one was worse, so that's what we're doing today. We've got the AK wood weathering set, and this has 3, I think these are washes or filters. Filter, poker, filter red brown for wood, and an enamel wash for wood. Same with no instructions. The next is the Vallejo old and new wood effects. So this has got 7 colors in it. I believe it's 6 paints and a wash. It's got a primer and a wash. And the last is the MIG wood effects. So this has got a lot of stuff in it. It's got primer, wash, gloss clear, I know 3 oil brushers, 4 oil brushers, a streaking brusher, 2 colors of wood, Africa Core wash, and 2 crystal clear colors, red and orange. I'll never get those back in there. Also, they come with instructions. So we'll start with Vallejo. They've got old weathered wood, step by step, and new weathered wood, step by step. So we're going to be following this new weathered wood instructions for the Vallejo. Then Ammo has light and dark wood instruction sets, and we're going to be following the light wood for this. There's no instructions for the AK, and I'm not sure if these are possibly meant just to go on actual real wood. So what we're going to do is take part of the test part I have, and we're going to mill away the top and put some real wood on it and see what these do on wood. They're going to have some sort of base wood colored paint, which doesn't come with the kit. So I'll use one of the other 2. We'll do 2 parts for this. So we're going to take a flat car. This is it. I've already milled away part we're going to put real wood. We're going to do AK here, and on the real wood, we'll do the ammo and the Vallejo. Now it's time to start cutting the wood. So right about there. 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 That doesn't look too bad. Serve the purpose. Step 1 is to prime with Surface Primer IDF Israeli Sand 70.614. It says to just spray this straight out of the bottle at 12 to 15 psi. This is step number 1 because it needs 24 hours to dry, which seems excessive, but maybe it's because everything in this kit is acrylic and they want to make sure the priming base is fully cured. There we go. So now that has to dry 24 hours. I'll let it dry enough that I can at least cover it up and start on the rest of it. Now it's on to the ammo. First step with ammo is to prime with the one-shot primer. And after reading the instructions, this takes 24 hours to cure also, it recommends. So I'm spraying this, says 20 to 30 psi. I'm shooting at 25. And we'll see how this goes. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to base coat the AK side. We're just going to try to use the filters over paint. And we're using MIG light wood. And I think that's good. Now we're going to do the AK wood on the real wood. We've got red brown for wood. We've got ochre for sand. And we've got enamel wash for wood. So I think to start, I'm just going to take each one of these and give them a swipe down a board or two and see what they look like. Start with the red brown. More board. Got super glue on there. Next we'll do the ochre. These seem pretty strong, actually. Now we'll do the enamel wash for wood. Very dark. That's what we get. The initial application. I think I'll try thinning them down a little bit. That's like 5 drops of thinner. Go back to the red. So do a couple of boards. This. I think I'm going to take wash and go over half of each of these boards. Top half of each board will get the opposite color. So we'll take some of this red, do the top half of this yellow board, and we'll take some of this yellow, do the top half of this red board. There. Here it is on this. They look okay. I don't know if you need them on regular wood. It really needs some gray, but there we go. There's the filters on the actual wood. Now we're going to do the AK side painted. See how this looks. Do about that much with the filter, the red anyway. Apparently they are made to go over a base coat of wood color, generic wood color, but the kit doesn't include that. And we'll go over the dark wood for the last part. Ooh, that was a lot. That could use quite a bit pulled off. Now, let's take a little bit of this and go back over our yellow. And a little bit over our red. Then we'll do the same with the ochre. Bit of the ochre, the red, and dark wood. Lastly, a little bit of the red, over the yellow, and spot over the dark wood. So there we are, the repaint AK set, both over raw wood and over a base wood color on plastic. Now we're moving on to the next step with the Vallejo system. We're going to put on the base wood color with golden brown. I don't give you any details of how or how much coverage. I guess until it looks like wood. So I'm going to try to not get it completely covered. A little variation. Call that good. Let it dry, move on to the next step. Now we're on to the next step for Vallejo. We are going to use gray wash. It says apply lightly and sparingly with a soft brush. Let's see how dark this stuff is. One thing that's kind of apparent in this kit is they're relying heavily on there being wood grain molded in, which there isn't on this flat car. There wasn't when I got it, and I sanded it down a little bit because it came with a cradle for a semi-trailer, which I pulled off, but it was glued down pretty hard. The spot where I put the wood in was where it was completely fused, and it got pretty damaged when I took it off. Short story is there's no molded in wood grain for any of these to work with except on the wood section. There's our washed version, and we'll let that dry and go on to the next step. Now we're on to the next step, which is highlighting some of the boards with light brown. Use a small round brush, apply light brown to the raised wood grain randomly and not overdoing it. You can dry brush also. Barring any further instructions, we're going to call that good. And once again, let this dry and move on to the next step. Now we move on to the next step, which is using golden brown to color some more boards. So we'll pick out a few boards. Try to blend this in with some of the existing color there a little bit. So we've highlighted some boards. And we'll let that dry and go on to the next step. We are on to step 6, which is again using the dark gray wash. But this time we're supposed to use it very sparingly just to highlight certain areas. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, then it also said to add some wood to that very sparingly. We're going to put it anywhere, this little knot hole. I think that's enough before I overdo it. There we are after the second round of wash. Now we're on to the last step for Vallejo, which is highlighting with this sand ivory. And this seems to be more in the color family of the I think it's the light brown. It doesn't go so much as a highlight on the golden. And I think that's enough. I'm going to quit there. So this is the final version of the Vallejo. I'll let this dry and get one more picture of it all dried, but that is following their 7-step plan to perfection. So here is the Vallejo. All done. Okay, now we're on to step 2 of the ammo process, which is giving it a base coat of light wood over the one-shot primer. And I think that should be good. So there's our base coat. We'll let that dry and get on to the next one. Now we're going to move on to the next step in the ammo procedure and use these oil brushers. They say to use dark mud, but ochre is optional. We're going to do a little bit of both to see what they look like. We just put some dots on here. Now we'll use the dark mud. I think I might need a little bit more than that. Let's look at their picture. So they show quite a bit. Maybe we'll try a little bit more on the ochre side. There we go. So that is after step 3, the oil brushers. The next step in ammo is to apply crystal orange over our oil brushers. So that's what we'll do now. And it's also optional to put crystal red on, or I guess that's another color they have. Maybe we'll try a little bit of that down the middle and see what it does. Here we are after the crystal orange has been applied. Now I'm going to try a little bit of the crystal red. Here we are after crystal red. The next step is a wash, Africa Core wash, and panel liner, deep brown. So we're going to start by putting a little bit of the wash on. Now technically they kind of use this to outline details. Let's see what we can do with this. Very dark brown. We can remove it after it dries a little bit if it is too heavy. We'll let this dry for a while. We'll go back and clean it off per the instructions. And then I'm going to come back and use the panel liner to fill in the lines. It's about 15 minutes. We're going to go back and clean some of this off. See what it looks like. I don't know if it needs odorless thinner. It might. It looks pretty dry. That doesn't look good. So maybe that's just implied that we should be using odorless thinner, or thinner period. Let's try that. See what we get. That doesn't look good. So I would call this step a big fail. I don't know what it's like taking off everything. So I'm gonna stop right there. That was not good. It peeled off everything that was underneath it down to the base wood color. So I think I'm gonna redo this, and I'm gonna redo it off camera and show you the final result. And I'm gonna take the time to let everything dry, because I'm pretty sure that's what did it. The oil brusher layer wasn't cured, and then everything on top of that came off, and then, I don't know, the enamel just seemed to dissolve everything. Here's the ammo section redone. I used the light wood base color. I did the ochre and dark mud oil brushers, and then gave it a light coating of the crystal orange. Get a little better representation of what that kit is capable of. I just wanted to shoot a little video of this building I did previously with the ammo wood effects kit. And these are just plain flat styrene walls. You can see it did a pretty good job of creating wood grain where there's just nothing but a flat piece of plastic. Here are the final results of the 3 different wood painting kits. The AK is on the left, ammo is in the center, and Vallejo is on the right. The AK set is a weathering kit, which means it's used to add effects to make things look worn or old, but it's not meant for fully painting something to look like wood. The ammo kit gives you both the supplies and a method to create a wood look, as long as you let everything dry completely. The Vallejo set is a full painting kit to make something look like wood, but you need to be skilled or have a surface that already has wood grain molded into it. And here's the last look at the final result.